first shots with the Atibal E2. I got this thing out of the box. A few things that I like about it right away, right off the bat. The mounting system. Mounting system is really cool here. We're running anything acro, right? Any acro plates, acro, whatever you've got for any handgun, it can run on that. What I really like about this is that they've got a low mount for it too. And it matches. It matches really well. This Torx bit is the same as this Torx bit. We're not swapping different fasteners. It's all good. Feature-rich optic here. We've got a top mount battery. We've got a tactile. One of my favorite things is this little nib on top of that up button. That's a tactile indicator. So if we're actually interfacing with this thing, we know what button we're pressing, which I really like a lot. Auto on with 50,000 hours of battery life, so this thing's not gonna go out. Nitrogen purged, so we're fog-proof too. So we just got done running some 38 Special through it. Obviously recoil is not a problem with 38 Special on this big end-frame revolver. However, now we're gonna kick it up a notch and we're gonna bring some Federal 357 Magnum into the game and see how this thing handles with recoil. We wanna make sure that the light stays functional, A, and B, we want to make sure that it's actually gonna hold zero. So let's load this thing up with some 357 mag. We went with 38 Special. We started off with that. I wanted to see how the optic was going to take the recoil impulse. 38 Special is roughly ballistically equivalent to 9mm. So now we've got 9mm Magnum, 357 Magnum, 100 Federal American Eagle, 158 grains, 1,300 feet per second, something like that. So it's definitely got a little bit more smack. So we're going to try it on that red plate over there. Man, thumping. Is it there? It's still there. We still got a dot. We'll find out if it's still holding zero, but I feel like that may have shaken it up a little bit, but we'll find out. Yee, doggy. Ooh, that wasn't terrible. If you were really on my side, we will remember the times. All these feelings we hide. Oh. Around those flat points. I took off running. I feel like oh, there it is. I do a dump. I'm like, I think some fell out. So I think we're still holding zero. Yep. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the shop. Today we have got our Smith & Wesson TRR8 Atibal E2 mounted on it. We just got back from our shooting session. The E2 performed very, very well. We had it mounted on top of the pick rails in this bag. We had this mounted on top of a pick rail. That was a really great setup. It's really cool that the TRR8 comes with a pick rail setup that you can mount other optics to, all kinds of crazy things. By the time we get done, I'm probably gonna just switch these two over and take some more shots with this. But Apex makes an acro plate for Smith & Wesson specifically. It replaces that rear sight. This is a cool feature. This is a cool piece of gear because it brings that whole bore, it gets this dot much closer to the bore axis. We remounted this up, took some more shots with it, and the optic is performing really well. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this optic off of here, we're gonna switch it over to the shotgun, and then we're gonna put this thing through even more recoil abuse with some 12 gauge buckshot. Let's get to it. out here, day 2 with the Atibal E2. Now we got it mounted up on 12 gauge shotgun. We got the Stoeger M3000 out today. Fantastic shotgun. Today was the first time that we had anything even remotely like a cycling issue. We were using the lightest bird shot that I think I've ever had, but switched out to just a different game load, and we were cycling just fine. But double out buck runs great, and double out buck has got a lot more recoil. That's essentially what we're here to test. So we want to make sure that the Atibal E2 is definitely going to live up to expectations with heavy recoil, and make sure that it's going to hold zero and stay on target. So far, feeling pretty good. Okay, so day 2 with the Atibal E2, very successful. Took this thing out, really hammered on it with some 12 gauge high wall, high brass, double out buck, lots of bird shot. Had a little bit of had some cycling issues with this particular shotgun on bird shot. It's a recoil off for inertia drive, so I might just chuck that up to the mechanism, or just having too light a bird shot. It's not the problem. The goal here was to put the E2, really put the E2 through its paces, and we wanted to see if it was going to hold up under the recoil. And let me tell you what, the double aught buck, nice high brass double aught buck, was definitely giving this thing a run for its money. Everything's still tight. We're holding zero. Optic runs exactly like it should. Hot day out today. Overall, it was a success. So I'm really liking this on the shotgun. I might just leave it on here, but this has worked out really well. So yeah, let's head back inside, and we'll go over the last final specs and give you my final thoughts on this thing. We're back in the shop after all of our shooting. Final thoughts here on the Atibal E2 is that this thing is competing directly with the Steiner Optic, the Acro Optic, Aimpoint's Acro. It comes in significantly less cost-wise, but it boasts some other features that they don't necessarily have, which is a 24 millimeter wide window, which I think is actually really, really, really important, because now we have great target acquisition across multiple targets. Mounting this on the shotgun, and we're transitioning from target to target, and then mounting this also on a handgun. My main concern was that the 16 millimeter tall window was actually going to be too short, and that we were going to lose the dot under high recoil. That's kind of why I picked the guns that I picked and the platforms that I ran these on, because I wanted to see if that was going to be an issue, not necessarily with a slide or with any of those operations, but I want to see if it was going to, if we're going to be able to maintain the dot, and if it was going to hold up with high recoil stuff. But we have a parallax-free, nitrogen purged dot. We're waterproof, shockproof up to 1,000 Gs, nice wide viewing window, motion activated, 50,000 hours of battery life, and we're running on an Acro footprint. A note is that it is a little bit shorter than an Acro. So some of your aftermarket Acro footprints, Acro mounts might come out a little bit long. To me, that's not really an issue, but it uses something that's standard, that is readily available, and available on a lot of different guns. I don't see why anybody would end up picking a different route to go in here. I think that the Atibal E2 offers incredible performance, great durability, and will be a complement to any shooting platform, and will serve for a very long period of time. I think that the Atibal E2 did fantastic.